Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiff.
I'm Sid.
And we are so excited that you guys are here again. Listen, y'all have to let us know if you have been enjoying our videos. We are literally taking y'all through our marriage prep.
Absolutely.
Like, this is literally how we got prepared for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we weren't dressed like this. We weren't in front of a camera.
No, we were
All
not.
the dialogue wasn't this smooth.
That part.
We had to break through some things, but we
100%.
made it through, and now we are sharing with you. And so
Absolutely.
today I am excited about this one.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is definitely a good one.
The topic of this is let's get naked. And Tim had to tell everybody, don't get excited. This is not about sex.
I definitely was.
As a matter of fact, when you start hearing what it's about, you probably gonna want to exit.
Yeah, probably going
we keep talking about that exit. That's showing up like every video now. It might become our thing. We might need to make a t-shirt.
What?
Exit.
What you mean when we exit? Oh.
No, not us, but we saying, as people are learning about this and hearing about this stuff, it's like exit is still, it's an option for some.
Mm-hmm.
But we're so excited to get into this. So the topic of this one is let's get naked. I got the notes here. So I'm going to go through a couple pointers. And as always, we just going to allow God to speak.
Put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelt on.
Put your seatbelt on.
It's a ride. All right. Let's take the ride. The first point here is that nakedness isn't about the less you wear. It's about the more you share. And that is so big because I feel like, and I'm always careful because you don't know anybody's journey. Right. But when I listen to specifically like married couples, right? It just sounds like people don't talk enough.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. And not only do they not talk enough, they don't get naked.
Yeah.
Because you can share.
Again, we're not talking about sex.
So you need to focus.
I'm focusing.
What was the laugh for?
I'm just saying, because people like they don't talk and then they don't get naked because like y'all not talking and y'all not having sex either.
No.
So I just gotta make sure they
naked in the context that we're talking about, meaning sharing more.
Right.
Because at the point of nakedness, that is your most vulnerable.
100%.
Right? Not if nakedness was still comfortable, if it was for everybody, we would be able to walk around naked. But now if you see people in the public naked, you're probably going to call the crazy house on them. But in your house,
right.
Nakedness, and it's crazy because nakedness should be there both in a form of vulnerability and then also in the form of the sexuality,
100%.
right? Yeah. And the problem is nowadays so many people are okay getting naked to get physical, but not getting naked to
100%.
to be vulnerable.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And so that point I think was so important, that it isn't about the less you wear, it's about the more you share. And really, if anybody, sorry y'all, we got the sprayer. Yes. The house got to smell good. If anybody who's watching this who's not married, listen, put your clothes on and talk.
You just put your clothes on
and talk.
And you basically what we're saying for you to do is, yes, sex, all of that is great, but it's not as in one thing I've learned, especially being in this relationship, that is sex is actually, and I'm gonna we real, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm a very physical person. My top love language is physical touch. So,
and I'm physical as well. Mine is number 2.
Right. So, but I've understood that being in a relationship, and a real one, that it's not sex, while it is a priority, it's not that much of a priority.
Yeah.
Seriously not. So when we're telling you to put your clothes on, it's not that we're saying that sex is not enjoyable or anything like that. It's a luxury that God has given. However, it should, in my opinion, in my estimation, it should not be the number one thing on your list when it comes to being with somebody. And let's be real, let's bring it to even ourselves. You got to basically get naked with yourself.
Right. No, that part.
You got to get naked with yourself, man.
Part.
Like, that is something that I've preached to men often. I don't believe that you can grow until you have the one conversation, in my estimation, and I believe that every man should have this conversation where they are completely blunt and honest with who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You can't grow past that point.
Yeah.
So in a relationship, it's the same thing.
See, this is hard because what you just did was it's like, and I know we have to keep going, but we might have to do a video on the nakedness with yourself, because I can understand if it is completely hard. Well, no, this was okay. This is great, because I was gonna say, if it's hard for you to be naked, like by yourself or with yourself, you're not going to be able to be naked with another person. But I love that one of the pointers that he made here was that you can't get naked alone. And I'll be honest in saying that even though it may be hard for you to be naked with yourself, and initially hard for you to be with your person, when you're with the right person who has created a safe space, 100%. It starts to make nakedness easier. Absolutely. Is that correct? Because we can say in our journey, because of the genuine love, because we both were naked, it wasn't like, oh, just you're naked and I'm sitting here closed up, you know what I mean, not sharing anything. And because we weren't having these cute little conversations, like we asked the questions that, like, it's like, wow, did you really just ask me that type of question? So 100%. If you're not able to ask the question that your person, if you're not able to answer the question that your person asks you, then that goes to kind of show this isn't your person, or you're not ready to go there with them, so you're not ready for marriage. Because I don't want to say this isn't your person. You may not be comfortable yet with being able to answer those questions or even ask those questions. Right. But to Sydney's point, like, being naked with yourself before you get into a relationship, or even while you're in a relationship, and having those conversations with you will definitely make it easier to be naked with another person. Because what I've learned is, the more I'm naked with myself, and obviously when I say myself, I'm always meaning me and God, I'm getting healed, I'm being honest, so I don't have to worry about you judging me. Or I don't have to worry about you walking away from me because of what I got naked about. And I would say that most people, it's hard to get naked, and you could tell me if you agree or disagree. It's usually hard to get naked because you feel one of a couple things. You feel like they're going to judge me if I get naked and share that. They're going to leave me if I get naked and share that. Or I myself am still going to feel so much shame. I don't want to talk about that.
Right. And like I said, you're absolutely, you hit it on the nose. A lot of us, especially when it comes to being open and honest, you know what I'm saying? It's really a, man, we condemn ourselves so bad. One thing I've learned about human beings just in general is that we take more time condemning ourselves than being open about who we are.
That's true.
And understanding that your openness, I always say it now, especially being in a relationship, but just being a man in general, that honesty is the best policy in my estimation. I just believe that if you are just completely open and honest with everything that, everything about your life. I mean, the crazy thing is, why wouldn't you be honest? Because God already knows. And in my lifetime, what I've learned is that if God can accept me, others who don't, is one or two things are going on. They're not my people or my tribe, which means I don't want to be a part anyway. And then the next one is that they are judging me, and more than likely they have a lot of stuff going on with them. So it's kind of like a lose-lose if I'm sitting here looking forward to be accepted by you because of my flaws or anything like that. And I love what Lecrae said. He said, if you die for people's acceptance, if you live for their acceptance, you'll die from their rejection. And so for me, it's kind of like being honest is just the way I live. When we got together, I didn't pull back. I just didn't. I feel like I was in a place in my life where I needed to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of a different relationship, it almost like the pain of it just splattered everything about me on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I'm looking at it myself, and I just came to the realization, like, am I gonna lie about this? Am I gonna hide it? Or am I going to confront it? Because I don't want to have to go through this again. So I felt like in that moment, I'm like, all right, God, let me take off the shirt. Let me take off the hat. Let me take off. This is what you created. Just also attached to with what I've endured through life. But this is what it is. Now, here's what we're about to do. I'm being honest about it. Let's go ahead and make this into what you actually wanted to be. And you can't be created until you get naked. God has to give light to the very core of who you are to be able to change it. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like, babe, that is so good. And I feel like what you just said should really help couples. He said that once now he gets naked, it's like, God, now you can actually make me. So for couples, it's like, if you want that relation, I think that's that's going to be like a pillar of our relationship, is getting the relationship you want. Like, that's going to be one of the things that we preach, getting the things that you want. The man, we talked about that. Listen, if your things are, listen, I want a peaceful home. I want a sexy wife, a great sex life. I, prefer like the house is clean because I don't want to clean. Like, if those are the things there's nothing wrong with that. If I'm like, I want to know that, you are doing this to make sure that our goals are reached. You don't mind taking care of like the heavier things for me. You like, if those are the things that I want, then those are the things that I want. And now, once we get naked, we get all of that old stuff off of us. And if both of us are doing it, where's the shame? Where is the shame if both of us are talking about where we have come from? Or let's say you're not going through, or you're not carrying things like your person is, because we all have carried something.
That's literally, I promise you, I'm not even gonna lie. Holy Spirit was actually talking to me actually of where we're gonna go next. And it's funny you said you guys carry. So one thing that, in order for us to be vulnerable and to get naked, is the understanding of that you both are gonna have baggage. Now, here's the thing: a lot of people think baggage is negativity, but it's not all the time. So when I met Tiffany, I had way more baggage than she had. She had the years.
Because I did 6 years by myself dealing with the baggage, not because I never had it.
Yes, absolutely. So I had way more baggage because I was just getting to my process while she was literally on the other side of it. However, what I found out was that I may have had past baggage and negative baggage. I understood that she was also carrying the way that she thought she was going to be in a relationship. And so God had to take us through a place.
Which was a bag itself that was still heavyweight.
Exactly.
Wait, we got to slow that down because that, and he actually talks about that in the next one.
Yeah.
That's in the Unpack Your Bags, but because we're going to go there.
Yeah.
You have to slow down and make sure they understand what you just said.
Yes. So like I said, it's one of those things where when me and Tiffany got together, she had this whole view of, like, let's do, for instance, the first time that we had like a little bit of disagreement, right? So her thing was, I'm gonna go pray about it. That was her first. I
gotta talk to God.
I gotta talk to God about it. And it rubbed me the wrong way, not because I don't know who God is. I have my own relationship with God. But one thing I'm understanding about relationship is that God places things in your life where you do not have to. You can literally get it together. A lot of people go to God because it's like you take out the accountability by going to God. It's like, well, I'm gonna just go to God about it and I ain't gonna worry about it. No, sometimes God will put you in a space where you have to deal with what you need to deal with. And I told her, I said, listen, I understand that, but that was when you were single. You are now in a relationship with another human being. If you go to God every time that we have a problem without us discussing it, then you're going to literally drive me out because we don't. There's no foundation. There's no what's the word? Connection. There you go. Connection between us that we can actually build off of. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
And when I went to talk to God, he actually told me that, like, you have to talk to him. Like, you're in the relationship with him. God should be in your relationship. So as you're talking to him, you should be led by the Spirit. As he's talking to you, you be led by the Spirit. But I think the thing is what I had to learn from that a lot of people don't want to do, because we don't want to do it in general in the world. It's not easy, and you have to do it with your person. Is humble yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to think about it. Anybody who knows my story, for 6 years, I killed the game as a single woman. Like, I don't have to say that about nothing else in my life. Business, I feel like I'm still figuring it out. It's so many areas, but as a single woman, I killed it, y'all. I killed it, and I did it amazing. So by the time I get in this relationship, you got to think. I'm like, oh, I know. I'm whole. I know my purpose. I know my identity. I ain't looking at other men. I'm about to be great for him. So to come into a confrontation, the way that I deal with it is I go and talk to God. That is who deals with me. But now I have to humble myself, because in the natural eye, what does that mean? Tiffany, you don't know it all. You don't know it all. And what the Lord shared with me was this: you did excellent for your singleness.
Yeah.
This is a new season.
Brand new season.
It's a new season. So you cannot go into this season the way that you were in that season. And so what we're saying is the greatest bag that I had, and we're not saying that I'm perfect, because throughout my relationship, Sydney has shown me things. I've learned things, just the way that I deal with him,
100%.
talk to him, things of that nature. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh my God, he was just this, whatever.
She ain't
Because
perfect, but she's perfect for me.
He had an amazing heart with all of his baggage, and that's why it was easy to deal with. But he was saying, like, he had all this baggage, right?
Yeah,
multiple
yes,
things
Jesus.
to deal with, and I had this one bag that could have broken our relationship, though.
Yeah.
So what we're saying, to bring it all back around, is that at the end of the day, if you unload yours, if you get naked and you share, and again, it's a matter of humility, humbling
100%,
yourself.
100%.
And I just wanted to share this passage real quick, because this is doing things God's way. And he talked about the condemnation. And Romans 8:1 tells us, therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. If your relationship is a godly relationship, there is no condemnation either way.
Yeah.
So even if your person is making you feel a way where you feel condemned, at the end of the day, I would rather you have these conversations so that you know that you need to exit the relationship, rather than not having them and trying to build on lack of vulnerability and intimacy.
100%. And like I said, you said it before, like, it's about humility, and knowing that the truth is that you both come with your own things. You know what I'm saying? You both come with your own things. And if you can understand that and give grace to each other, you know what I'm saying? And being able to, in this moment, all right, this is what I am. This is who I am. And let's see. Because here's the thing. You still have a choice, even while you guys are dating, while you guys are engaged. You're not gonna ever be able to know if this is the person for you until you get to a place where you get naked. Like, seriously, like, how will you ever know? I can honestly, when I asked her to marry me, I knew off of a whole lot of reasons, but for two things for certain. I knew that I could handle who she was, and I knew that she could really handle what it is and I'm getting ready to be. Because, and the only reason we came to that conclusion was that we were honest. There were certain conversations I done had with her. They were hard. They were extremely hard. It was just like, yo, and this is crazy. Like I said, a lot. I tell her, we joke about it. She's like, they're not gonna get upset, but there were a lot of things from my past that were even holding me from loving her. That's like, it was, and she was loving me, and I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but she was literally in a place where she loved me. I loved her, but it was still it was just like this.
It wasn't easy.
And it was not easy. When y'all hear some of the stuff that me and this woman have been through, and let's be real, taking responsibility on the account of me and going through my process and what God was doing with me, it was difficult. But one thing I said in the beginning of getting to know this woman was that I was always going to be honest with her, and she was never not going to know.
Yeah. And I love that, babe, because the next point here is that we do things outwardly that explains where we are intimately. I mean, where we are inwardly. Oh my God. I think I'm going to say so many women lose out on great guys, but I think people don't give their relationship a chance because you're looking at what that person has done to you, not understanding that that is a response behind something.
Always.
Or that is a response with something behind it. Let me tell, do you mind if I tell the story about when we were leaving Praise Team?
Yes.
You do mind if I tell?
No,
I can't tell.
Yeah,
okay.
You can tell.
So earlier on in our relationship, like Sydney said, he came from, past relationships, from family, dating relationships, they just weren't all the best. So now we're together. And again, he has this woman that, because I will say the things in my singleness that did help was me knowing my identity and me being whole and things
100%.
like that, it really helped me to see him for who he is and actually be a help me and not look for him to come to my rescue
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of women are sitting around and doing. But we were leaving praise team rehearsal,
Mm-hmm.
and we were all standing outside. Now we're still building our relationship, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
we're in a relationship, so whenever we leave one another, we hug, we kiss, we goodbye, right? So I was at my car somehow, because he usually walks me to the car, so I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
happened, but I was at my car. Some of the ladies from praise team was at my car, and we were all talking. So he walks to his car. He like, all right, bye or whatever. And I'm kind of looking around like, what is going on? And so he drove past. He drove past, like saying bye. I called his phone and I said, "What? Like, what are you doing? Like, don't you ever leave without a proper goodbye?" But you know what he told me? He said, "In a previous relationship, that person always put their friends before me."
Mm-hmm.
So if one, he wasn't vulnerable and honest
Mm-hmm.
and told me that, and if I didn't snap on him. I didn't know. I made him
Mm-hmm.
listen. I love, like, nobody comes before you. Like, I don't care where we are, who we're saying goodbye to.
Mm-hmm.
We say goodbye.
Yeah.
We hug. We kiss. Like, that is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But slowly you see how that allow him to now be naked in more places. But
Mm-hmm.
that outward response had nothing to do
Nothing.
with me. It
It
had
has nothing. It
nothing to
never
do with
does.
me. And so that point, it says we do things outwardly that explains where we are inwardly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that to say, do not give up on somebody so quick just because outwardly they are not necessarily what you think they should be or how you think they should be. One, you humble yourself, because you're not the easiest to deal with either. You're not perfect,
Right.
right? So you humble yourself to figure out what is going on. Why are you acting in that route? And if the response is that it's something you don't want to deal with, then that's fine. At that point, you walk away. But you have no idea how many amazing people I think people walked
But that
away
goes. It
from
just goes back to what
because
we
they
were.
wouldn't allow that
Right. It goes back
space.
to what we were saying about being naked. Like you have to have those hard conversations. So I've asked. I know a lot of people won't do it, especially in relationships. I ask about the past. I do. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't dig up the past, who they were. They're not that person no more. I'm like, nah. I don't agree with that.
We have
I
to
don't
talk
agree.
about that.
I need to know who you are because here's the
Mhm.
thing: you may have changed from certain things, but there still may be some underlying things that's going on, and I need to know to be fully
Yeah.
prepared,
Yeah.
either to make the decision or to even say like I'm gonna be here. This is the
Right.
I'm gonna be here for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, a lot of my responses had a lot of my stuff had a lot to do with past relationships, my childhood,
Yeah. Both
um, both
parents.
parents, abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot. It had nothing to do with her. And here's the crazy thing
Like, I didn't do
about don't
nothing.
giving up. The like never give up on people because one thing I had
Not
to
never, because
like.
sometimes you do
Well,
gotta
yeah, yeah,
walk
yeah, yeah,
away.
yeah.
But
When it's when the right circumstance.
exactly.
So for me, one thing I had to do was learn how to compartmentalize things. So for
Okay.
me, there were a lot of things that I was going through internally that the enemy or even myself tried to use to say that it has something that's connected with her, and that's why I'm feeling this way. She wasn't doing nothing. It's like, man, why I can't vibe with her like that? Why I can't? And it's like it had nothing to do with who she was because she's an amazing woman. And like I said, it's about being honest with yourself,
Yeah.
like honest with the facts. Like who is she? Knowing her, I got naked. She got naked with me, and I knew who she was, so I was able to gauge on that to say that okay, it's not her. It's not her. It's my past that still wants to be a part. It's making me believe that this is going to either end the same way or end to some degree the same way. So it's kind of like, let me go ahead and get out of Dodge real quick before it actually takes me out. But it's like when you understand the nakedness and being able to be honest, like when the Bible says, and their eyes were open, if their eyes were open to a reality of truth that they wasn't supposed to be a part of.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So it's like your eyes are open to this reality that says, okay, okay, now I have to deal with this. This is something I got to deal with. How am I going to deal with this? But it's like when people keep that guard up. They're not revealing anything. It's like you go through all these things. That's how you end up in marriages that say, well, he wasn't doing that before.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Or she wasn't like that when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you guys have been dating with clothes on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all been getting intimate basically with a whole bunch of clothes on.
Yeah.
Now, if you go into the physical, how is that even possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not possible at all. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I love that. And so the next point, and this one is extremely good because I knew early on, and I told Sydney this. I don't know, within our first three weeks of communicating, like I wouldn't go out with him, I wouldn't meet up with him, nothing. It was straight like face it, because I'm like, can I even talk to you? Like, what is your dialogue? Like all of that. But the journey that we took was so important, and I knew up front, and I know that we're gonna have it's y'all so much that we have to talk about, because some of this stuff when we share, it also has a pretext, and it also has, you know what I mean? Like, I know that I'm gonna have to talk directly to women, because sometimes people take on projects that they should not. But I knew immediately the heart that Sydney had, and that this was a man of God, and that he was a great leader. But I also realized early on that he had a lot of things that he was going to have to deal with. I told Sydney in our first 3 weeks, I don't even know how we got on this conversation, that usually when people are in relationships that God puts his hands on, he's going to ask for Isaac at some time. Sydney didn't believe in breakups. But I told him, so many people throughout my lifetime, I have told them it was moments God gonna make you consecrate. He gonna make you step away from them for a minute. And I knew it was gonna happen. And guess what? We broke up twice, and he called off the first one. But I'm saying that to say the next point here is that Adam was hiding in the thing that he should have been managing. And so a lot of relationships are running where the women are in charge. Okay. The man is not. He is not in his place spiritually. He is just not in his place. And the women are in charge. And it is simply because his season of nakedness, you were supposed to be there as a help, but culture is teaching you to look for somebody to rescue. So he doing everything for you, and y'all are doing nothing for him.
Yeah.
So what our nakedness together allowed was for Sydney to literally uncover it all, me to uncover what I had to uncover, so that he could manage and not have to hide. The stuff that he had to get honest with me and tell me about, the things that just we experienced, there's no way that he could lead this relationship if that was still sitting in his heart and it hadn't come out to be able to tell me, so that he could. And here's the thing, some of the stuff he shared, it was just him and God to work on it. It wasn't about me working on it. It was just, I remember so many times where I would tell him, baby, thank you for just telling me that. Because now I know, oh, you're not rejecting me, or this isn't distance between me and you. This is you trying to deal with that so you can get rid of it. You understand what I'm saying? And so you have men that are hiding in their relationships like Adam, because the women won't give them space to get naked. Listen, that man is not perfect. He may have come with baggage. That doesn't take away from him being a provider. That don't mean he's not the man of the house. That doesn't mean he's not the priest. That means that you, as the helpmeet, have to step up, help allow him the space and the time to heal, so that he can be in his place. And again, you don't have to. You don't have to, right?
So I love what you said about when I would tell you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to help me go through it. So one thing I do want to say to couples is that to know when to let God in, right? Number one. And
he should always be in.
He should always be in. What I'm saying is, like I said, even with the incident where you went to prayer instead of coming to me, right? So what I'm trying to understand is, if God put you
so can we say, don't lose your thought? We need to know when to let, and y'all will understand what I'm saying, know when to let God lead versus you knowing when to let your partner lead. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, God is leading us,
right?
Versus
so
you,
what I'm saying too is this, is that sometimes when you come to that place where your man is actually coming to tell you certain things, right? In most cases, when men are being vulnerable, it's a lot for them.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Let's just be real. It's a lot. It's a lot mentally on them. It's mentally draining, and especially if he has been a person who has done it before and got burned, oh baby, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very, very difficult for him to come and say. But if he does come and tell you, here's the thing you need to understand: as a spiritual woman, right, as the helpmate, you have to know, okay, he's telling me this. What he's telling me, God, I can't handle it. Yeah. Right? We're not saying move on from him. Yeah. We're not saying that. Right. What we are saying is that there are certain things that there are certain things that only a woman can handle. Yeah. And I know we don't like that, but it's true. It's true. God, there are roles. Yes. God told me. I remember me and him had a whole bunch of conversations about, like Yo said, he was like, I love how honest you are, but keep in mind that you have a woman. Right? I understand the weight that you carry, but you can carry it because of what I put on the inside of you. Doesn't mean that she can. Yeah. So just understand, if she doesn't give you the response sometimes that you want, she doesn't give you what you need in the very moment. Sometimes it's not about her, it's about me healing it, not her. Yes. Right? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So just understand in those moments of being naked and being truthful. Understand it. And this goes to the both of you. You guys cannot take on everything that a person has going on. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. That's why God is so neat. I'm gonna be real with you. We wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for God. Oh, for sure. I don't see how anybody. I don't see how you know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't have made it without Jesus. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. Because there are things that she told me, I'm like, okay. But it's almost like God would take me back. This is what she was trying to say in this, and he fortified me in this area now. And like I said, you will grow to places where you can handle more. Oh, for sure. 100%. For sure. But you are not there to be their God. Yo, and if one of your spouse or whatever is trying to make you that, yeah, you need to let it be known that I'm not that. And I will never be able to feel that kind of place in your life. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's so good. And it makes me think about so again, when Sydney and I came together, both of us were believers. We were both 100%. Saved, but Sydney had his season where he was like, I'm out. Deuces. Yeah. He, you know what I'm saying? He let, like, he walked away from God. That's how we can, kind of sum it up. And so when we got together, because we met in church, right? So, but y'all know how many people sit in the pews and live how they want to live. Yeah, so he was coming back to it and back around to it. And so I remember during, our relationship at certain times, like I'm all in, you know what I'm saying? Every day with God, like, this is what it is that we do. And I remember a couple things, like I would try to encourage him to do certain things or tell him to do certain things. And I would just remember, like, for instance, for me, I'm like, go to the Bible, like worship, do this, do that. And I remember the job that he had, it would have him like out by the water, and he would just call me with like revelation, like just revelation, because he's driving by the water. Or and then as our relationship progressed, I remember him telling me, like, God has taken me through the Bible as a father. Sydney lost his father at 16. Yeah. But here I am, this grown, mature woman who just got this amazing relationship with God, and you trying to tell him how to go through the Bible as a mother, because I don't carry a father in nature. He didn't need that. Yeah. He had a broken relationship with his mother. So you're not helping. And so I remember, and I get it wrong the first time, but I'm going to get it right. When the Lord told me as I was praying, I might get it wrong. Let me work through it, y'all. I remember the Lord told me, give me your mouth and give me his ear. I think that's how he was saying it. I might have texted it to you. I don't know. And basically what the Lord was saying to me, because that was awful. But what the Lord was saying to me was, give it to me, I'll get it to him. Yeah. You don't have to try to get everything. Every time he did. Every time, y'all. There is not one thing up until this moment. I can start crying right now. There is not one thing that I saw that I felt like may have been a flaw, or I felt like, as a leader, like, Lord, like, if he don't do this, or if he don't get this part, or if he don't understand this, like, would I be okay? There is not one thing since the Lord told me that Sydney has not come back and was just like, babe, this, or me and God was talking in that. And I'm like, he literally did it. I gave the Lord my words. I gave God. So it's like, you don't have to give that man
That's not what you're there for. Now, there is time. Again, we humble ourselves, right? It's submission one to another, service one to another, where it will be things where I say, well, babe, this or babe, that or babe, but that's not our job. And I think women have been so frustrated because you're trying to tell them everything. You don't need to tell them everything. You need to help them with everything. Some stuff only God can tell them. And I'm going to tell you this, if you go into your marriage feeling like you have to tell them everything, that is how your marriage is going to be sustained. And you're going to be tired because that is not your DNA.
And he's going to be tired of hearing it.
And he's going to be tired.
Yeah, he's going to be tired of hearing it. But it's like I said, well, you have to understand roles in relationship. And it's not just about the man and the woman. You got to understand God's role in all of this.
100%.
Like, that's just being real. Like, 100%. And it takes the pressure off of you guys trying to be that for each other.
Oh, that's the part. You just make me want to lay on you when you say that. The pressure. The pressure. It removes the pressure, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let this man take it, girl. When he told me that, I was like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, when God's, like I said, when that scripture, when God was taking me through the scripture, as a father, he was teaching me how to be a man. And so it's kind of like, this is my role in all of this, but here's your role in this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's in your DNA, the way I created the man and the way and how we got to the woman by being, taken out of the man. There are aspects in that creation triangle that we understand that they can handle this. There are roles in this thing. When I finally understood that my job as a man, I had one job when it came to my relationship, and that was a sacrifice. When I figured that out, when God told me that, and he also told me sacrificing is never a good word to hear. Who wants to hear sacrifice? However, me sacrificing lets her go to her role. And do it so perfectly, which is submission.
Yeah. So everything you feel like you lose in sacrifice, you gain in my submission. And so, ladies, everything you feel like you lose in your submission, you gain in his sacrifice. Baby, we gotta. That's a key.
No, it's serious. That's a nugget, man. Like you have no pressure. There shouldn't be any type of, and like we're saying, we're not saying that things are not going to happen in life. They are. They really are. Absolutely. But you understand, when you understand your roles and you start to function in them roles correctly. Oh man, listen, I can tell you right now, my relationship is wonderful.
It is.
I love my woman.
What I just asked you earlier, I was like, do you feel like this too good to be true? Or is this
my answer was literally yes, where it's supposed to be, but at the same time, I feel like it's about to get better. And I don't know why. Yeah. But that's just us being in our roles. Yeah. And when you all are in your roles, now God can do what he can do. And that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Like, it's so good. Like, man, God he's the star of this relationship.
Hello, somebody.
I'm sorry.
God is the star, not you, not your plans, not what you think he should be doing.
I don't care what nobody says. God is the one who makes and breaks the relationships. Like he will literally, he guided me so much.
Oh my God.
Like he guided me so much through my process and gave me so much substance to be a husband.
Yes.
I know now that I'm ready. I am ready, bro. I'm ready to be a husband because I have been doing it to a certain extent as a fiance.
Yeah.
Where I am understanding, like yesterday. So, you know what I'm saying? Something that needed to be done. It didn't go the way we wanted it to go.
Not
at all. And I was calling my homies. I'm frustrated. I'm like, bro, this is bold. But one thing they kept telling me is that, bro, this is the road that you get into.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I could have literally, I was like, man, I'm through it. I'm about to go lay down. I ain't got time for this. I'm about to go lay down. But I sacrificed rest to make something happen for my woman.
Yeah.
And you see how she doing.
When I tell y'all, I am not exaggerating. And anybody who knows me know that I am organized. I am detailed. I am the decision that he made. First of all, I never would have thought of. And two, when I tell you, it feels so good. And there's so much peace in it. And it feels like it gave us more than what we had.
Right.
I never could have thought of it.
I think what she's loving the most is that, like she just said, she's a very organized person. She's very matter of fact. But what happens when you don't even have to do that?
Right. Oh, no pressure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is, man. And the crazy thing is, I'm telling you that God was the one who gave me the idea.
Yeah.
It's like I was trying to fix. I was on something else.
Man,
I'm like, I got to try to fix this right here. I got to try to fix this right here. And God was just like, no, this is what you're gonna do it this way. And it just, listen, you know what I'm saying?
Adam was hiding in the things he should have been managing. Because we have been naked in our dating, Sydney is able to manage this marriage. He is going to manage this because we both got naked and allowed each other to get naked and allowed the Lord to let us see each other and what each other meant, and we processed through. Like, this is so good. I'm gonna tell y'all something. If y'all like really listen to the things we're saying and just follow and start taking these things, to God and doing them together as a couple, ladies specifically, you're gonna hate what culture teaches.
Oh yeah.
You're going to hate women that are out here trying to do it all, trying to lead. I don't need no man. You're going to hate it because God pulled us from a man. How do you think you don't need a man? And I get it. Like I said, in my singleness, I was killing it. But I mean, at the point where you have that, at the point where you are dating, you are in that space and you want it, to then be I don't need him, I'm independent, or I only need him to do this, only need him to do that. No, you are not God. You don't know. I am telling you, culture is training women to carry the loads that are only meant for these kind of shoulders. Culture is killing y'all. Everybody know me. I killed the game. Somehow I could carry 200-pound boxes. When I went to book signings and I'm selling books and I got this and I got that, I'm doing all of that stuff, managing my home, man. And it's like, of course I can do it, but like my mind isn't even wired for that anymore. Right. It's not wired for that. And I'm not just talking about lifting heavy stuff. I'm talking about even the decision that he just made. Was it yesterday? The decision he just made, y'all, it never came to my mind. Never. So it is my prayers that y'all are really understanding what we're saying about getting naked and allowing the man to be where he needs to be and the woman to be where she needs to be. So the next one, and we're going to obviously probably have a couple videos that'll just be geared toward like celibacy and sex and things like that. But so I just want to say this point quickly, that nakedness brings you together emotionally. Sex brings you together physically. And I think that that's so important because people do make sex out to be like everything. This huge, big things. And you think that your emotions are all attached to it. And the truth is your emotions are attached to whatever is going on with you internally. And then sex is usually like a release or a coping mechanism. So the sex is not the emotion. That's like he said, the nakedness is what will bring you together emotionally and give you the intimacy that you need, because you can have sex with anybody.
And that's the problem. Y'all are having sex with people you don't even know. Just calling a spade, bro. Like, you don't even know this guy, what he comes from. You don't know this girl and what her family dynamic is like.
I'm a witness.
It's like, it's like, yo, you out here just sleeping with people, and you guys there are two nakedness that needs to take place in a relationship. And when the second one doesn't come until after marriage.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is gonna sound crazy, but this is the truth. When you meet somebody, you need to be getting naked immediately.
Because who wants to waste time?
Like, bro, like, you don't need to be out here waiting and then you get married to that individual. When he was like this before, it's like you just signed yourself up for just an eternal grief because you didn't do your homework.
Man. So we love y'all so much. We hope that you guys are enjoying this as we just share relationships God's way. And we'll see you guys in the next.
Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe. You feel me? Comment on the video. All of that stuff, man. We going back and look at all the stuff.
Yes.
And, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We on everything.
Yes.
We love y'all.
Listen, because we got some great stuff for couples coming. Like when I tell you my heart, I did my thing for the singles. I did my thing for the singles. 100%. Babe does his things for the men. Y'all make sure y'all follow. Please. But for couples, like,
we on it.
Listen, we got some stuff.
We got some stuff, yo, for real. We want to create. We want to create some good relationships for sure. And break up some bad ones.
Hello,
that's it.
Yeah,
we here for all of it.
We have to walk away from bad relationships.
We here for the smoke. You did.
Yeah, we here for it. But we love y'all so much. We'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.